Do you want to get your child's attention? You try to get your child's attention, but all you do is repeat and repeat and repeat yourself until you lose your temper. If that is you, on this podcast episode, I'm going to share with you two power two power strategies, communication strategies that are going to get any child's attention. Yes, even if you have an ADHD child, even if you have a strong-willed child, even if you have an autistic child, even if you have a, a strong-willed child, a toddler, a teenager, this works for any child. Welcome to another episode of the Parenting with Understanding podcast. This is your host, Marcela Collier. I'm a certified parenting coach, mother of twins, one of them autistic and ADHD. And my mission as a parenting coach in HIC Parenting Education Agency is helping parents go from frustration, overwhelm, reactivity towards their children to becoming secure parents. And this is the theme of this podcast as well, providing you with the inspiration, the tools, and the information for you to break free from reactivity and become a secure parent. If this podcast has helped you in some kind of way, would you give us a positive review? Just open the description, write a 5-star review. Hopefully that will help us get to more parents. And the topic of communication, it's a big one because repeating ourselves is just a setup for failure, not just for ourselves, but for our kids. We set up ourselves for failure because we end up feeling frustrated and then we react. And we set up our kids for failure because when we repeat and repeat ourselves, they tune us out. That's why we keep repeating ourselves. So, how do we get our children's attention? I'm going to share with you these two strategies, but before I go there, it's important for you to understand where these strategies are coming from. And they're coming from brain science. So we have two hemispheres in our brain. We have our right side of our brain and our left side of our brain. Our children too. But what happens? Children live in their right side of the brain, which is in charge of emotions, how things feel, memory, creativity, etc. It's the emotional part of our brain. And our left side of the brain is the one in charge of logic, of a cause and effect, of steps, of understanding the logic of instructions, understanding the importance of instructions, etc. But why is it important for us to know how our children process information in their brain before I give you these two strategies of communication? Because if we don't know how they process information, it's hard for us to know how to communicate with them in a way that they're able to process it and respond to it and understand it, right? So bear with me. I guarantee you and I promise you that this is connected to the two strategies that I'm going to teach you in a little bit. So they live in the right side of the brain. When we tell them an instruction or when they are interacting with us, it's not what we say, it's how we feel as we say what we say. How we feel with us, how they feel with the situation. According to Dr. Daniel Siegel, when children live in their right brain, many times they are just flooded with emotions and they don't know and have no clue how to make sense of it. So it feels even more overwhelming. And that's when you see the meltdowns, or a broken banana, and logically to you is it's just a broken banana, but for them it's a big chaos because they don't have the right connection to their left brain that tells them, hey, it's just a broken banana. That helps them build that coherent narrative and helps them feel or helps them connect their feelings to a story, to the right story, or to the right explanation of why things happen. That's why they live in the right brain and everything feels a lot to them. And if they are ADHD or autistic, it's even more. They feel more because their triggers are a little bit bigger sometimes. Their sensory triggers, their social triggers sometimes are a little bit bigger. So I was talking to one of my clients today in coaching. I had coaching all day. My voice is tired from coaching parents, but that's not stopping me from recording this podcast episode. And then we were talking about the topic of communication. And then she was saying, just my son is so rigid. He's so rigid. Even something as we were in a pool and then we needed to wear goggles. And my daughter's goggles are still fit right, from last summer. But my son grew more and his goggles are not fitting. So now he was asking his sibling to share the goggles with him, and she didn't want to, of course, because she wanted to wear her goggles. And then in an attempt for me to calm down the situation, I say, hey, Sansen, don't worry, I'm gonna order you your goggles, but they're gonna come in 2 days. For now, you just kind of have to be uncomfortable with your unfitting goggles. And even with that, even after me ordering goggles and telling him that they're on the way, he just needs to wait 2 days and he's gonna have his brand new goggles, he still had a big meltdown. So sometimes I feel I cannot get to him. Do you relate to this story? That your children live in rigidity, that your children live in emotional chaos. So, what happened here? What happened here? This child who lives in their emotional brain is not able to integrate or move to his left side of his brain automatically. I order goggles. It's gonna come in 2 days. You're gonna have brand new goggles in 2 days. You just have to swim with the unfitting goggles now. All that is a logical explanation of a situation that is being felt and lived through this child's emotional brain. This parent who had very great intentions was speaking to this child's left side of his brain, which is the logical side of his brain, when he was in his right side. And that's the reason why so many parents struggle communicating with their kids. And of it's because of not knowing that how their children's brains really work. So what happened here? Let's go to here. When this happened, how did you respond? Well, how I said, at first, the mom I was coaching, she said, at first I was explaining to him that we just ordered the goggles. But when I noticed that that did not stop the meltdown, I got reactive. Many times our reactivity comes from our feelings of incapability of communicating with our children in a way that they reciprocate or that they are understanding us and really receiving what we're saying. This mom's reactivity was not triggered by this child's meltdown. It was triggered by her feelings of incapability by not having success at communicating with her son. So, before I go into these two strategies, it is important these two things that I just told you. Number one, to understand how our children process information and how they live in their brain. And now we know that Leo kids live in the right emotional side of the brain and they struggle to connect to their left side, which is the logical side. That's number one. And number two, it's important and it's highly crucial. I don't know if that's the right expression, but it's very important for us to remain as secure parents, as regulated, secure parents, as we drive and navigate communication with our kids, because the moment we get reactive is the moment that it would is the moment that our children don't see any way out of their emotional brain. Our reactivity instantly triggers their survival centers of their brain, which is their amygdala, and then they will hold on to that and try to survive it with more tantrums or shutting down. So if that is you, before I give you the strategies, I have an invitation for you. I have a free class that you can access right now. It's on my website, hicparenting.com. hicparenting.com. And on this free class, I'll walk you through my 4-step system to stop reactivity, bring peace to your parenting so you can raise secure children, so you can parent your children with peace and accountability. Because once you are able to remain collected and secure, you can apply these two strategies that I'm going to talk to you right now. So the first strategy to communicate with our children and get their attention is connect and redirect strategy. Connect and redirect strategy. And this is a strategy from Dr. Daniel Siegel as well. So the connect and redirect strategy is geared towards integrating our children's right side of their brain, which is their emotional brain, with their left side of the brain, which is their logical brain. They do have a logical brain, but when they are living in their emotional brain, it's hard for them to access their logical brain and integrate it during those emotional moments. So let's go back to this story of the goggle story today. The reason why this parent was not successful at communicating with her son is because she tried to speak to the left side of this child's brain without the child being on the left side yet. So connect and redirect technique integrates these two sides of the brain. It helps a child move away from right side to left side. And once they're there, you can get their attention and their listening a lot faster and easier. So how does this work? The child is in a meltdown because he doesn't have the right goggles, and it got worse after he asked his sibling to share her goggles with him, and now he is overflown by emotions. He is completely on his right side of the brain. So the connect part is, instead of going to logicking with this child, we go to connecting at an emotional level with this child. And this could go something like this. Yeah, I know it is hard to see your sister with the goggles that fit her, and then you ask her to share with you and she said no. I see how disappointing and frustrating that might feel. I see you. So you connect with their emotional side of their brain because that's where they're at. If they are too dysregulated, if they're already in their survival centers, they might just need a little more time to calm down. And this What could help at this stage is to not go to logic, just to stay present. I see you, you're safe. I know it's hard, trying to offer a hug, or if they're not a huggy kind of person, just reassuring them, being there with them, for them. Don't fall in this trap. I try to offer a hug, I try to do all these things, and they still don't calm down. That usually happens when we are stuck on the expectation of they need to calm down with me, I'm the responsible to calm them down. That's not your responsibility. Our job is not to calm our children down, because it's out of our control. It's out of our control when their nervous system is ready to calm down. Our only job during their upset moments is to be with them until they calm down. To be with them, it could be physical presence or it could be emotional presence. Sometimes we have to move on with the routine. Let's just say we are rushing, we need to get in the car. We can still keep our verbal connection and our emotional connection, even if we are not right there by their side, because we are taking care of other things. So I understand that. But to bring my point home, connecting to your child's emotional brain where they're there is what starts, is the initiation of brain integration, meaning them being able to go from right side to left side of their brain. Once they're a lot calmer, that's when we can access their left brain, and that's when we can access their problem solving. And all the things that the mom said sound great to me. Let's order a new goggles. They're gonna come in 2 days. What can you do in the meantime? All those things work only once they're at the other side of the right side of their brain, not before. So connect to the redirect. We connect with the right brain and we redirect with the left brain. Let's move on to technique number 2, or strategy number 2, communication strategy to get any child's attention. Instead of this dismiss and deny, name it to tame it. What does this mean? According to studies, when somebody is able to name what they feel, they're more likely to calm down faster. When we have a web of emotions and we cannot make sense of it, we don't understand the story beneath our emotions, they feel even more overwhelming, and we we stay there. And it happens for children and it happens for us adults. So instead of dismiss and deny, we name it to tame it. So how would this look like? Let's just say that your child falls and scrapes their knee and they're crying. And I know that we sometimes we enter this protective mode. I don't want to see my children in pain and discomfort, so I'm just going to try to fix their feelings. And then we fall in dismissiveness and denial of their feelings, such as, "Oh, don't cry. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay, baby. Let me wipe your tears." It comes from a good place, yet it does not name their experience. It does not validate their experience. And when that happens, they're still with their web of emotions that they don't know what to do with it. And the behavior continues, or the crying continues, or the dysregulation continues. Name it to tame it is helping children have a coherent narrative of what happened. So the child falls, they scrape their knees, they are overflown with emotions, and just as describing what we saw. You were on your bike and you fell and you scraped your knee. And it hurts. But mommy came and mommy's helping you. And now you are healing. And you can hug mommy, and mommy's hugging you. and mom is helping you feel better. Name it to tame it. Science says that just the fact of naming it, of describing it, helps children connect the right side of their brain that's overflown with chaos of emotions with their left side of the brain that gives the logic and the understanding of the why of those emotions. So those are the two strategies. Why are these so important in communication? Because when we are able to connect and redirect and name and validate instead of dismissing and denying, we are able to integrate our children's side of their brain with their logical side of their brain, which is their left side, and therefore they're they're able to cooperate with us a lot faster. They're able to calm down a lot faster, and they're able to have an understanding of what they are feeling and thinking a lot faster, which it makes them less overwhelmed and a lot calmer. I'm very curious about something. If this podcast episode gave you understanding, gave you the strategies, if it helps you in some way, share it with a friend. Share it with a friend and tell them, hey, I learned these two communication strategies and I learned about brain science and how our children's process information and how they see and see the world, how they live in their brain. And I know it can help you as well. Stop right now what you're doing. If you're driving, don't stop and share this podcast episode with one friend. Doesn't have to be two, doesn't have to be three. Just share with one who needs this message. And I'm very curious. What was the last time? What was the last time that you validated your child's emotions? And how did they respond to it? If you are watching from YouTube, let me know in the comments. If not, I encourage you to think about it and remember that it only takes understanding of yourself and of your children's needs to transform your parenting and raise secure children.